I gotta tell you. Last night I went back and watched the Eagles-Bengals game. And as I'm watching the game, I had the same thought pop in my mind. And this thought stayed with me all night as I was trying to go to sleep. And the thought was simple. This Eagles team, from the front office to some of the players, think they're smarter than everybody else in the league. I mean, what does Howie Roseman think when he sees DK Metcalf on the field and sees what he's doing? What does Doug Peterson think when he doesn't hire an offensive coordinator and then he sees his former offensive coordinator in Indianapolis doing the things they did in 2017 in Philly? What does Carson Wentz think when he goes out and struggles and then goes home and sees Nick Foles just threw as many touchdowns as he's had all year? This team, I hope, after yesterday's tie, got humbled because they need a big, big pile of humility. Yo, everybody, King Dingbat here. So today we have come with the hell is that? It's a big ass dog. Dallas still stinks. Yo, everybody, doing King Dingbat here, and I hope everybody's having a good Monday. I hope you guys are doing well. Me, I gotta tell you, I'm still a little bummed out about yesterday's tie, and it isn't because it was a tie. It isn't because the rest of the division lost and they all stink. It's because of the way we've been playing. Okay, we are in week 3, and this team looks, they don't look right. They look horrible. I mean, the players, the way they carry themselves doesn't look right. The coaching hasn't been good. The players, like Carson Wentz, haven't been good. There just hasn't been a lot of good things, and it's frustrating, and I can feel like the anger and everything just building up. I'm probably going to explode and wind up knocking this wall down during one of my live streams. That's how bad it is. It's been very frustrating. And now let me also say this. We got to give the Bengals a lot of credit, right? They came in and they came out with a tie. Congratulations to the Cincinnati Bengals and their fans. You got a great young quarterback. I like Joe Burrow a lot. He's cool, calm, and collective. I think you guys got a good one, and you're definitely on the rise. So congratulations. Now, on the injury front, we have Deshaun Jackson. Deshaun Jackson left the game, I guess, with a hamstring injury. He's getting an MRI just to make sure everything's okay. They think it's not serious and he could possibly play on Sunday. But my question to you is this. If we don't get Deshaun Jackson that we know, that first half Deshaun Jackson that we had against Washington a year ago, what good is he? Because he hasn't looked good. He hasn't looked good except for that one half of football versus Washington. I think he's been injured. He was injured all last year. I think he's been injured all this year. He didn't look right against Washington week 1 of this year. He hasn't looked right since. So I hope they figure out what's going on with Deshaun because we need Deshaun. We need him. Okay? So we'll see. Vontae Maddox, Dallas Goedert. They are both injured. They're going to be out for a while. They both have lower body injuries, and you know what? They live together. So they got two guys that can't move, that have lower body injuries. Who's getting the beer? Who the hell is going to get up and get the beer? Who's going to do it? Avante can't move. Dallas Goedert can't move. Who the hell's going to do it? I think they should call Jason Peters up, let him do some running around, maybe lose a couple pounds because he's too slow at left tackle. You know what I'm saying? So both those guys are injured. I don't know who the hell's going to get the beer. I really want to know because they're both sitting on the couch with lower body injuries for the next few weeks. But they're out. Oh, man, it's crazy. The amount of injuries we have is crazy. Now, as far as this game goes, it's very frustrating watching this game back. It really is because the one thing that I see is that we do the same things. We make the same mistakes that we've made for several years. We make the same exact ones. We do the same things wrong. And I don't get it. I don't understand. My only thing I can think of is that this team thinks they know better than everybody else. I mean, did you see DK Metcalf versus the Cowboys? He threw that one. He got that one touchdown where he slowed up. Should have had 2. But God, man, he's a beast. And we didn't want him. We want Ortega-Whiteside, who did nothing again yesterday. I mean, that falls on Howie Roseman. They talk about Carson Wentz and what's wrong with Carson Wentz, and Doug was there today talking about how he now wants to go to a more of a hurry up type offense, fast paced offense, so Carson doesn't have to think enough because his head is so cluttered. Well, why is his head cluttered? That's what I want to know. He's a fifth-year quarterback. Why is it cluttered? I'll tell you why it's cluttered. One, you don't have an offensive coordinator. You don't have somebody who can help him, somebody for him to go to. It's like Ron Jaworski said on A2D radio, shout out to those guys, like a week back, that he's got all these different voices and all these different people telling him what they want, and it gets to be too much, okay? You need an offensive coordinator. You need somebody he can go to, like when they had Frank Reich. They don't have it. Of course his head's going to clutter. You got Marty Morningwing. He's what? Passing advisor. You got another pass advisor. It's like, what the hell's going on? Why don't you have an offensive coordinator? Okay? Secondly, and this is going to fall on Howie Roseman. I'm sorry, but I truly believe this now. I think the Jalen Hurts pick messed with his head. I think it's messing with his head on some level. And take that with all the stuff coming at him. This guy is losing confidence quick, and it's just too much. So yeah, you should simplify the offense for him. Of course, Doug, you're 3 weeks too late on it. You should have had a better idea of what you want to do, and it's just very frustrating to me, and I was listening to Doug Peterson today, and I heard him talk about Carson, and you can't bench him, you can't take him out, all those kind of things, and I'm going to talk more about that later in the week, but, of course you can't. You got to let him play this thing out, okay? Win or lose, he's got to play this whole thing out. Unfortunately, and I don't know, fortunately, unfortunately, however you want to look at it, this division stinks. It stinks. Dallas is 1-2. Washington's 1-2. We're 0-2-1, and then you got the Giants 0-3. You're half game out. You haven't won a game. So in some ways, it sucks because it continues each week the suffering. You know what I mean? Each week you're still in it, so you're suffering because you're hoping, I hope this team could turn around. And some people are like, the hell with it. Just tank. I'm not there yet. I'm like 3-4 weeks away from that. But it's frustrating. I don't understand also, for the life of me, why the media didn't ask Doug about the overtime and about the stuff leading up to when he punted. Because they keep talking about Doug shouldn't have punted. Why did he punt? And he shouldn't have punted there. He should have, in my opinion, I wouldn't have kicked the field goal. I'd have gone for it. But he punted, okay? But to me, that wasn't the issue. That's not the issue I had with Doug. My issue was that you were right at the field in field goal range. You were just at where you needed to be. Carson sneaks for a first down. Okay, next play, you run the ball, then you come back and you run a design quarterback play, which I don't understand that play at all. Why are you running the ball? They acted like they wanted to run the clock out, and they were totally content taking, what was it, like a 54, 57-yard field goal, somewhere in that range? They were content to take it and try to win a game with that. You can't do that. You have to get every yard you can. You have to continue to play like you need to go score a touchdown. You need to get 20 more yards, 15 more yards. You need to get as close as possible. I would never rely on a 54-yarder, even if the guy can make it. Why would you be okay settling for that? I thought that was crazy. And Doug hasn't answered that. He just talks about the punt. Oh, I probably shouldn't have punted. No, yeah, you shouldn't have. You didn't even try. And is it because he doesn't have confidence in Carson Wentz? Well, if that's the case, then we're closer to the end of Carson than not. Because once your coach doesn't have a confidence that you can throw in those kind of situations, I think you're in trouble. But I don't think it was a confidence thing, because how could he not be confident in his quarterback? You saw the throw he made to Ertz in overtime, and then you say what you want about Carson Wentz. You can say he was bad, and he wasn't great all day. But my God, at the end of the game, when he needed to go score a touchdown to tie the game up, he went and did it. Then he hit Ertz on a good pass. I thought maybe he was starting to come around, play his best, and then you just totally take the ball out of his hand, and you want to settle for a 54-plus yard field goal. Doesn't make sense. That is on Doug. That is on Doug. And then when he was asked about why you don't run Miles Sanders, why they don't use Miles Sanders more is beyond me. It is beyond me. And he said, well, he was fatigued and it was a fatigue issue. I ain't buying it, dude. I ain't buying it at all. I don't believe it. Maybe one day, one play he came out, he was winded. And then he used that because you drop the ball, Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders comes out of the gate, right? First series, he gets one handoff, 10 yards. Second handoff, like 10 yards. And he's out of the game. Like, what are you doing? He's tired already that you have to take him out? Two carries? Come on. I ain't buying it. I am not buying it. It was a tough game. Really. Bad coaching. Defensive coaching, too. I mean, that one play with the sticks. Even in my live stream, I'm going, oh, no, they're in sticks. They're going to get first. You knew it was coming. Everybody in the world knew it was coming. And you know, Schwartz was horrible. Doug was bad. And then you have Carson. I mean, Carson is struggling. There's no question about it. Carson is struggling. People already want Hurts. Now, here's my issue. The reason why people want Hurts is because he was a second-round pick. And the reason why there's a controversy, well, there's not really one, but there's a growing one, is Howie Roseman's fault. He thought he was smarter than everybody else, and he was going to take Jalen Hurts in the second round. But he doesn't understand. You sent a message to your quarterback. Whether you think you did, whether you think you didn't, you sent a message to him, Howie, and you said to him, we don't really believe in you like other franchise quarterbacks believe in their quarterback. That's why we're going to not get you protection on the line, not get a cooner, not get another linebacker, not get another wide receiver. We're going to get somebody just in case you can't get the job done or you get hurt again. Whether that's what Howie means to do, that's what he did. Because why? Because I think he outsmarted himself. And I think this is a repeating problem for this team. You get Howie Roseman, who thinks that he knows better than everybody else about players. And he drafts guys like Ortega-Whiteside over DK Metcalf. Now me, a simple man, a simple fat butterbean mother humper, is sitting there watching the draft, live streaming, saying the Eagles are going to take a receiver. They're going to take DK Metcalf. You got to take DK Metcalf. And then they don't. The rest of the world knew you should have. So sometimes I think he thinks he's smarter than everybody else, okay? But the facts is the Eagles have a lot of rookies that don't provide a lot of impact like other teams. Look at all the other teams around the league that have impact rookies. We don't. Then you have Doug, right? Doug, his coach, his play calling yesterday was horrible. It was horrible, and he's like today they're asking him, are you gonna still call plays? So, yeah, I like calling the plays. It's fun, but your plays are vanilla and easy to figure out. Why do you want to do that? Why do you want to do that, Doug? Because it's fun. Okay. No offensive coordinator. You didn't need an offensive coordinator. Clearly you did. Clearly you did. It's frustrating. And I see that. My interpretation of when I hear Doug say things like that is, I know better than everybody else. I got this. Same attitude Howie Roseman has in the front office. Jim Schwartz, we're going to run the city, going to do the same defensive crap that he's been doing for 3 years, 4 years. That doesn't work. But he'll do it anyways. Why? Oh, because it's fun calling plays. I don't know. But it's stupid. This team has a lot of people in it who I think they know better than everybody else. And they'll do it their way. And look, they should do it their way if they're in that position. But when it doesn't work, why not change things up? This isn't 1 year. This isn't 2 years. We're talking about 4 or 5 years now, okay? They had a great run in 2017. They had a few things going their way that is a lot different than today. And then as far as Carson Wentz goes, my gosh, his mechanics are horrendous. They are horrendous. I mean, I was watching. Every time he runs a screen pass, he jumps up in the air. He doesn't set his feet, and then he throws these bad passes. He threw one that Boss Scott could have gone for some yards. One on a third down to Miles Sanders threw at his feet. He's not setting his feet. He's jumping in the air. His mechanics are way off. And And some people say that he changes the play calls, that he doesn't, and I've heard him kind of be dismissive of the mechanic stuff and things like that. Do you think you know better too? Dave Filippo was on his ass about mechanics, and you saw what he did. So there's a lot of frustration on my part with this game. Okay, it is. There are things that I like. Okay, I want to tell you some positives too. I think Miles Sanders is a stud, and he continues to look great. I liked the defensive line last night, or yesterday. I liked T.J. Edwards. I think he's pretty good. Nate Gary's got to get off the field. You got to get rid of him. He's got to go. He's got to go. He was horrible yesterday. Jason Peters was horrible. I think Jason Peters is older, and he prepared to play guard. I think he put on too much weight, and he's just... Anybody with some speed around that edge is just beating him, but they're not even beating him with speed. They're manhandling him. It's crazy. It's crazy, but he's been horrible. Oh man, it's tough. It is a tough situation. It was a tough game, and these, of course, are my final thoughts on this game. We're going to do this video and we move forward. We start worrying about the 49ers because look, end of the day, everybody in the division lost. We're only a half game out. There's still time to turn this around. And I got to say, Carson struggled. He made some bad passes. First interception, I don't blame him. It was deflected. Now, some people say, well, there's 3 people around Deshaun. Even if it doesn't get deflected, could have got picked. Might have got picked. Might have gone right into Deshaun between all 3 of those guys. We don't know. So I'm not going to hold that against him. Second pass, horrible. And I also want to point out that if you notice, every positive play that Carson Wentz made, every big play came with him out of the pocket. Comes with him out of the pocket. Except for the pass to Ertz that I could think of. And a lot of times he was running. Which, was good to see him run. That he could still move. But, those were big plays. You got to get the guy out of the pocket more. You have to roll him out. And the play action with not running enough, when the defense doesn't respect your run game, it's not going to respect the play action. And you saw that again yesterday at times. Not as much as in Washington, but again at times. And this team, they got to figure it out. And some people are calling for Carson to get benched. Put in Hurts. I know that people want that. To me, this is year 5. This is the year that's going to show us a lot about Carson Wentz. Because he's either going to come out of this and start playing better, and show that he's got the mental strength to work through it, or he's not. I got to keep him in right now. I got to keep him in for the foreseeable future. At least 4, 5, 6 games. No way I'm replacing him anytime soon. We win or lose with Carson Wentz. That's the way it has to be. And he showed signs of coming out of it, I think, especially late in the game. And I wish Doug Peterson would have put it in his hands at the end. Instead of trying to just run the clock and take that big field goal, I wish he would have put it in his hands. Because if Carson's successful, you're going to give him a lot of confidence. But I got to tell you, I think Carson Wentz is so good. I think he's got it in there. I think he still has the talent. I still believe he is a good quarterback. He is just going through a really, really tough spot. And he's not getting help from the players around him who've been injured and the coaching staff. Carson Wentz needs the opportunity. We should afford him the opportunity to get through this and work through this. And that's what I'm going to do. If we get to 1-5-1, 1-6-1, something like that, then we can talk about those kind of things. But right now, we have to let him have the opportunity to keep going forward. And yesterday, he wasn't good at times. He was horrible. But at the end of the game, I thought he kind of started to come out of it a little bit. And Doug took an opportunity to really build confidence from him away. So it is what it is. Tie is a tie. It isn't a loss and it isn't a win. So next week is huge for us. Next week we win. We're right back in this division, even though we're technically in this division anyways. We need to get that first win of the year. We got a tough stretch: Niners, Pittsburgh, and Baltimore. So I want to at least win 2 of those 3 games. That's my goal. And I hope this team pulls through and rebounds and gets it going. But yesterday was a very frustrating loss. It was very frustrating. It isn't the end of the world. We move on to week 4. Those are my final thoughts about the Eagles-Bengals. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. And don't be a dingbat.